All right, I'm going to call this meeting to formal order. Phoenix City Council meeting for Wednesday, September 6, 2017. Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilman DeCiccio. Councilwoman Gallego.
Here.
Councilman Nowakowski. Councilwoman Stark.
Here.
Councilman Valenzuela. Councilman Waring. Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Pastor.
Here.
Mayor Stanton.
Here, my understanding is two of the council members may be appearing telephonically. They're not on yet, but we'll announce them when they appear by phone. Now is the time for citizen comments before the Phoenix City Council. Members of the public can address the City Council on any topic not covered on today's agenda. Who just appeared telephonically? Who's on the phone now? Hello? Councilman? All right, well, someone appeared telephonically, but they're being shot right now. But when they're ready, they'll announce their presence. So members of the public can address the City Council on any topic that is a non-agendized items up to 3 minutes. The first speaker on citizen comment will be Noel Rosen, is that correct, from Wickenburg, followed by Miles Nikasian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm here today. I am the founder of Rally for Law Enforcement. We are a pro-police movement. And I saw that Chief Williams is in the house. I want to say, Chief, your police officers did a fantastic job protecting the citizens at the Trump rally on April 22nd. My hat is off to you, literally. It is off to you. Phoenix police did their jobs, and my experience with Phoenix police was, it was first rate. I was there at that Trump rally. I saw what happened, and I don't know how much more than I could say is that I'm very grateful that the police were there that day. We had their backs, but you know what? They had the citizens' backs that day, just like they always do. And I was appalled last week when I see protesters taking over the city council meeting, and you guys just letting them do it, okay? Our police deserve a lot more respect than that. You know, I believe in defending the thin blue line, and I will do it. I do it every day. I do it in what I post, what I say, what I do, because I back the blue, and I'm proud to back the blue. So Chief Williams, thank you for, they did a great job. You should be applauded. You should get up and take a bow. I think you really should, because those police officers, fantastic, all of them. I'm encouraging every citizen to back our police officers. Thank them for the job they do. It's a hard job, and it's a tough being a police officer right now, but you got to back the blue. They are our city soldiers. They deserve to be defended. And Mr. Mayor, you should not have let those protesters take over this meeting. You should have stood up and had the courage to clear the room if you had to, so that, so that law and order could be maintained. I think it's ridiculous that you allowed them to just take over. But today isn't about the protesters. It's about our cops. Back the blue. To all of the Phoenix police officers that are in this room, thank you for your service, and thank you for keeping our community safe. Thank you. Back the blue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rosen. We have council members that have appeared telephonically. If you could announce yourselves. Who's on the phone?
Councilman Nowakowski.
Councilman Nowakowski. Any other council members on via phone? Okay. Next speaker for citizen comment will be Miles Nikasian, followed by Lisa Antone.
Thank you, Mayor. And kind of like what Neil said, same thing. I was there, and I witnessed a lot of it. We had to also walk through the tear gas, and unfortunately, and and I just want to say the police did an amazing job. They kept us safe, and no one really got injured. There was a couple minor injuries, but they did an amazing job. So definitely thank the Phoenix Police Department for that. But also, I think it's important that we address the domestic terrorist Antifa. They've all around the country. They've been, attending political events and attacking those who oppose of their beliefs. They're mostly communists, some anarchists, and so I think it's important that we address those individuals and label them as domestic terrorists so that they can't go on these streets and attack people for the freedom of speech, and so everybody is protected, and that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Next will be Lisa Antone, followed by Richard Tamayo.
Hi, my name is Lisa Antone, and like my friends, I was at the Trump rally. The police, in my opinion, did an amazing job. And again, I'm going to back up what people said. Last week's city council meeting was really a sad state of our state. That citizens can come in here and behave the way that they behaved and hijack what should be a peaceful meeting of the people. And that's what we're seeing in our streets today. And that's what we're seeing when there's protests and rallies, whether you're on one side or the other, the violence should stop. And you guys are responsible for stopping the violence. And what our Phoenix police did at that Trump rally was have the courage to do what is not being done around the rest of the country. We will not allow, as citizens, to become Charlottesville. We will not allow our state to become like Oregon. We won't be another Berkeley. And you guys have a responsibility to stand up for those police officers who went out there and did their jobs. And for the protesters who are upset that they got tear gassed, we walked through the tear gas too. We were a half a block from our car, and we walked 3.5 miles through angry, hateful people, unarmed, unguarded, through the tear gas. We're not complaining, because you know what? We showed up, we had the right to our free speech. Free speech ends the second the law is broken. And if they're gonna break the law and you wanna cry because you got stuck with tear gas, you know what? When you see black people dressed in black with masks over their faces, get away from them. Are they there for peace? No. And so, you know, you can be upset because you got tear gassed and you got stuck in the middle of it, but when you have an angry mob that hijacks your peaceful protest, the police don't have time to decide who's peaceful or not. And I've run with my organizations, we've run a lot of rallies and protests in this state for the last 2 years, and we worked very closely with the Phoenix police. And they are here not for one side and not for the other side. They have been here consistently for all citizens on either side. And I applaud all the work that they do. They put their lives on the line. They don't deserve to be abused. They don't deserve to be tear gassed or gassed. They don't deserve this. Neither do the peaceful citizens who were there on either side. But this is your guys' responsibility. You have to own what's going on in the streets. And if we're gonna be another Berkeley, you know, God help us, but we're better than that. And our police are better than that. And every one of you should hold yourself to the same standard and be better than that. And that's all I want to say, you know, is we're in a political war, and we have got to stop the fighting. I talked to the city, I talked to the Berkeley police, I talked to the Berkeley police officers, a few of them after last weekend's big mess, and I asked them how they could stand there and watch American citizens tear each other apart in the streets and not uphold their oath. And I am thankful to every one of them that I said, if you need lessons on how to be a police officer in a mob-controlled world, come to Phoenix, because we'll show you how it's done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Antone. Richard Tamayo is next, and then followed by, I think it's George Sanchez.
How you doing? My name is Richard Tamayo. I'm the senior pastor of God's Army. And last week I was here, you heard my testimony, but today I'm going to speak on a different coin, a change of heart. The type of heart that most of us in our communities should be doing right now, and that's forgiveness, love, and mercy. Ecclesiastes talks about, Ecclesiastes 3:7 talks about there's a time of tear, a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. That day was a time of war, hate, and a whole lot of bad things. And now is a time for mending, peace, and love, a sense of peace. You, the leaders, are the heads, and the people are the body. And the body was in pain, sending a signal to the head. And when we are in pain, our bodies send us a signal to let us know that we have to take medication or go to the hospital and to be addressed or get the issue taken care of. I'm a retired New York City police detective. We're all private military and law enforcement. We take to the streets. We build a bridge of trust between the communities and the police departments. But that bridge also has to be able to represent both sides. We represented last week the community that was hurt, and now we represent the police department. We are prior law enforcement. We have a heart for the cops. We know it's a tough job. We know the situation that happened at this protest happens at many, many protests. You have individuals that try to, they have an agenda. They go to these protests and they hide behind the innocent people. These are individuals that hate the cops and want to throw rocks and injure the cops, and they use that as an opportunity to do so. So yeah, there was probably an incident there at the time, and there were innocent people involved. You got two mixed individuals at the same scenario. But the bottom line is this: unless we learn to forgive, have mercy, and love one another, we won't be able to mend as a nation, as a city, as a people. These individuals, our leaders, and the police chief, they are the head. And they're the ones that take us and listen to the body when there's time for repairing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tamayo. George Sanchez is next, and then the following speaker will be Rich Osile.
Hi, and thank you for listening to me. I'm George Sanchez. I'm here, I appreciate the police, what they did last week, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm a retired police officer myself, but I'm here for the traffic congestion that's putting a stranglehold in the South Phoenix area. In particular, again, I've told you I was a retired police officer, so I worked many off-duty jobs. A lot different working an off-duty job in North Phoenix than it is working South Phoenix. They seem to put up barricades at before 8:30 and don't tear them down until after 5, which just creates a big problem for us. We're already congested down there, and you have the street transportation department just put a blind eye and not enforcing the 8:30 to 3:30 standard. All I'm asking for you guys to do, especially Kate Gallegos, who is my representative down there, get the street transportation job or the management to do their job, to make sure that the people aren't being held in a traffic stronghold down there. It took me from 43rd and Dobbins. Unfortunately, I live at 24th Street in Dobbins, and I have my daughter lives at 43rd and Dobbins. It literally took me, I had to go pick up my son-in-law to give him a ride to work. It took me almost 35 minutes to get from 43rd and Dobbins to 7th Avenue and Broadway at 7 o'clock in the morning. That should not be happening in my neighborhood or in the neighborhood. It's not my neighborhood, but it's part of the South Phoenix area. They seem to put the barricades up at any time they want to, take them down whenever they want to. That's not acceptable in our community down in South Phoenix. We'd like to be, again, I'm a retired police officer. I've been at 24th Street and Tatum, or up in that area, and if one barricade went up before 8:30, there was a city inspector down there to tear us down. So I know how it is, and I've been told by several city inspectors that the reason they do that is because we don't, the people in South Phoenix don't complain. The people in North Phoenix do complain. We just want to be able to drive our streets. We know they're congested. We just don't want them as congested, especially between 6 o'clock and 8:30 in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Officer Sanchez. I'm going to give the card to the Councilwoman so she and her staff can reach out to you directly. Thank you for that testimony. Next will be Rich Osile, followed by Brian Morris.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing the citizens of the city to speak. I'm here simply just to say thank you to the Phoenix police officers, the whole department. I was at the rally that President Trump held, and I attended all 5 that he's done within our great city, and every single time we could depend on the police to keep law and order and keep everybody safe. So thank you to you and every other police officer that's in this room or on duty right now. I just want to say thank you. They're the best. They do a great job, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that testimony. Mr. Morris, followed by, I believe it's Tammy Ross.
Mayor, Council, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak. Like our collective group here, we just wanted to extend our sincere gratitude to our great police department here. We didn't get a chance to really be heard last week. I think that the meeting was a little bit hijacked, so we thought it was the opportunity for us to really reach out to our police department and to the community and to let you know that I think that what really needs to be said is that our police department here in Phoenix is probably the most exceptional police department across this nation. In all of the instances that we've ever had here, our police department has acted in grace, and they have acted in accordance to disperse quickly anything that might embarrass us as a city. And I think that that's something as leaders you guys should be very thankful for. And that's one of the things that we hope that by standing behind our police officers and our great police chief that we have and all the officers that are on the street, that you guys understand that there is a large group out here that is very thankful and expresses deep gratitude for the fact that we don't have to see our city on TV being embarrassed, having our streets burned, having our businesses looted, having people being pulled out of their cars. That has never happened here. I've attended every single rally that's happened for both sides. I've actually walked the streets with the Black Lives Matter movement, stood with our police when the clash came with our units there off of 7th Avenue, or 7th Street, excuse me. I was maced, walked away. I was where I needed to be, but I was, no complaints. We put ourselves in these positions, and if you show up, you need to accept the consequences for what you have. But in all sincere gratitude to our police, our men and women of the police department, to our police chief, and to everyone else in law enforcement across the state, thank you, and we hope you guys are hearing our voice loud and clear, even though it was tried to be squashed last week.
Thank you for your testimony. Next will be Tammy Ross, followed by Leonard Clark.
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for letting us speak today. Along the same lines, I wanted to talk about Phoenix Police, who at the Trump rally, I think they did an exemplary job, and they should be a role model for other cities to follow our example. I think we were kind of blessed as a city to have a sitting president and vice president on the ground in our city at one time, at the same time. That just doesn't happen very often. And I think that it was handled so well by the police. I've been to Trump rallies before. I didn't go to this one, but I went early. And the atmosphere is good. They kept, everyone was safe, and that's how it should be for everybody, no matter what your function is that you're here for, who you're here to see, or what your political interests are. You should be feel comfortable and safe in your city. And I want to thank the Phoenix Police, but when I saw last week's council, the meeting, it was, it seemed like a lot of negativity, and I think that's not fair to the police. So I just want to say that I think the police did a wonderful job, and I want to thank them.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ross, for that testimony. Do we have an additional council member appear telephonically? Who's on the phone?
This is Sal.
Okay, so Councilman DeCiccio and then Councilman Nowakowski's on the phone as well. Okay, Mr. Leonard Clark, followed by Lalani Forrest.
My name is Leonard Clark, and first of all, I want to thank all of the veterans and the people who made this country great, who gave their lives, civil rights officers, people in the past who've done what they got to do. But I will be the contrarian. And I do appreciate the fact that I can speak and not be attacked, such as other countries where I've been in Iraq and Saudi Arabia. And what my opinion is the fact that, everybody keeps saying that, well, if you come to a protest, be ready. If people have a mask or they're dressed in black, that gives the right for, people to fire tear gas into them. I don't buy that just any more than I agree that it's all right for police to be attacked. I think this country is headed down a path. Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country. I'm only thankful that nobody that I know of, any of the protests have been killed, but unfortunately, I was very disheartened when, in the beginning, we were told no plastic bullets were used, flashbang grenades, things that they use in the military. That's not right when a few people are protesting, and I'm not going to say everybody at the protest was bad. If there was one person who threw a plastic water bottle, that's not reason to respond with flashbang grenades, tear gas canisters, plastic bullets, etc., against people who were there with permission to exercise their First Amendment rights under the United States Constitution. Let that be in places like China and Venezuela, but not here. So I do ask for an independent investigation. I ask that it be conducted along the lines of the Arizona ACLU, and I ask that on Tuesday, when they vote for a non-police citizens over oversight commission with teeth on your policy section session on Tuesday, that you vote in favor of it. This is to help the police, not to hurt them, because if you're a lone police officer and you want to stand up for the rule of law, you've got the elder police officers. Some of them are corrupt and they don't want to be discovered on what they're doing. So I'm the contrarian here. I think that police put their lives on the line for us, but at the same time, I think that the bad apples can sometimes ruin the barrel if we let it. So we need an independent investigation. We can no longer have the police investigating the police in the city of Phoenix. We need you to vote yes on Tuesday, as the city manager has placed on, I've been told, the city policy planning session, a vote up or down for whether we have a non-police oversight commission, such as Seattle, LA, New York City, Chicago, all of those. Thank you so much, and it's great that I can speak and not be shouted down. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you very much, Mr. Clark. Leilani Forrest is next, followed by Larry Hallis.
I'd like to speak a little bit of opposition to the gentleman that just spoke. Anytime you go to a rally or you go in and protest, you've got to figure that there are going to be some issues, and you've got to be willing to pay the consequences of what your actions are or the crowd that you're with. I can say nothing but praise for the Phoenix PD. Thank you very much to each and every one of the officers that are here today, on duty or off duty. You make an amazing city for us, and thank you very much for that. But as far as demonstrators go, the minute they start throwing things at the police department or at other citizens, it's no longer a peaceful demonstration. It becomes a mob, and I think that's what started to appear. And thank God that our police department put an end to it. At the end of the day, there may have been a few with some injuries, but we all went home safe. So thank you, Phoenix Police Department.
Thank you very much, Ms. Forrest. Larry Hallis, and is it Catherine Hallis? You both want to speak? Excellent. And then followed by Mr. John Rusnick. Good to see you.
I'm Catherine Hallis, and I'm here to support the Phoenix Police Department.
Actually, I hadn't planned on saying anything until I noticed that my wife had filled out the card and she had put my name on it too. Fact of the matter is, my name is Larry Hallis. I was with the Phoenix Police Department a total of 36 years, from April of 1970 through June of 2006, through several facets of the police department. Having said that, I will say that I was at last week's meeting. I was seated right over there. As a matter of fact, right where Jerry is, right there. And I was really aghast at what I saw. It was a complete and total fiasco. And I was here primarily to see that the other side was represented without a cadre of individuals back here that would try and shout us down. We did not have any stores looted. We did not have any cars burned or turned over, specifically police cars. We didn't have any buildings set on fire. We didn't have any of that, Mayor Stanton, because she did her job. She did her job, and she did it well. The only way to deal with a situation like the Antifa folks who are there for peaceful purposes with the masks on and the clubs and all that, the only way to deal with that is very strongly and very abruptly just say, we're going to give you a chance. We would ask that you disperse. My wife and I were also at the Trump rally. When we left, we heard the helicopter flying around, although it was denied by the folks last week, repeatedly and coherently saying, would you please, ladies and gentlemen, disperse, several times. She did what she had to do. Nobody got hurt. There was very few arrests, and simply put, the job was done. I hadn't intended on addressing this issue, but if in fact there is an outside group from another state brought in to review the conduct of the Phoenix Police Department, I would consider that as an officer of the police department at that time, all the way up through and including the chief, a slap in the face. It would substantially be a detriment, an enormous detriment, Mayor, to the morale of the Phoenix Police Department. They will still show up for work. They will still know you as their mayor, but if you want 110% out of each and every officer on this department, I would strongly suggest that you rely on the expertise and due diligence of Chief Williams. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that testimony. Catherine, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, got it. All right. Next will be John Rusnick, followed by Ms. Diane Barker.
I'm John Rusnick, 2930 East Turney Avenue. I'd like to talk about the library that is closed. On the front page right here, this paper, it says, the city was warned the library could flood. And it was a year ago, according to this article, if the article is correct, it was a year ago it was determined that if those pipes could leak down into the library. I would like to say that now it probably costs 6 times as much to do it, and of course $6 million is nothing to the city, but it is something that you got to look about. So what might have been $1 million end up being $6 million. And how many books were destroyed? I never did read about that. The thing is, somebody has to be accountable for this years of absence with that rusted pipes. So what they're going to have to do is, we should know who reported it, who didn't report it, if it was reported to the manager or not. But there should be some heads roll, because this should have been taken care of 6 months ago. A year ago would be fine, but it wasn't. Now I want to say a little bit about the police on the deal that they had at Trump. I'd say one thing. The police done a wonderful job, as far as I'm concerned, in taking everything in hand as they should have. They were put out there, those men were put out there to keep the peace. And that's what they did. They kept the peace. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rusnick. On that first issue, I don't be substantively, other than there is a firm that's been hired to look into it, and I guess we'll make it as public as soon as possible, and city manager will take appropriate action. Ms. Dee Dee Barker, Diane Barker?
Yeah, well, thank you. Mayor and City Council, Diane Barker. I live downtown Phoenix, and I got to speak in front of the Board of Supervisors on the first issue I'll address you on today, which is Phoenix is a greater part of Maricopa County, and the Maricopa County is the regulator of air quality. So I live downtown. I remember sending a quick email to our city manager saying that I was looking forward to a peaceful protest. It didn't turn out that way. And I've heard both sides. I'm a very big believer in freedom of speech, and I, thank you and Denny Barney today for having the discretion to allow me to speak in front of you today. But if I didn't have my air, I wouldn't be able to voice this to you. And I want to remind persons that there is a greater good above all of us that is asking that all these people that want to come out and come downtown, I wonder how they got downtown. Did they not bring pollutants? Even the newest cars pollute. And even some of my friends that don't have any clue about using rideshare or mass transit now are looking at Burton Bar and saying, what did you do here? We can't use it, and how are these people going to get to these other libraries? I says, well, they can use mass transit. Some of them can walk and ride bicycle, and it would help out. And in these times, whether you believe that global warming started Houston, it certainly doesn't, human activity that leads to carbon emissions doesn't add to the problem. We need to be responsible in not only the city of Phoenix, all of the departments, that we do not extra pollute coming home from that rally that was peaceful for a while. I almost threw up because, you know, I got affected by an area that was not sequestered off for the general public that was downtown. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here. I go by the Crescent, the Van Buren. It is packed with people. We have, on Tuesday, people are coming downtown. And finally, I got myself to Mickey D's, and I had an ice cream cone. I felt a lot better, people. We have to care about our actions, and my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness means that I have to breathe. If your freedom of speech is more important than my breath, then we're all doomed. And I want to hand this in on Burton Bar, the contract. Greta, our dear Greta, said, whatever you say today, I'm totally in support, because I researched the contract. It's a job order contract that was given out because the city council gave a $20 million contract in 2014. Greta's saying, wait a minute, you can't give $2 million, Ed Zerker, without having a RFP. Well, maybe you might look at this and maybe she is wrong, although lots of times Greta doesn't want to be wrong, but I'll tie this up, is that, you know, you need to have the signature typed out with these fancy scrolls, and everybody did it on this contract, except the law department, Dan Brown. We want the law department to be responsible.
Thank you, Ms. Barker, very, very much for that testimony. We'll accept that contract that Greta gave to you. Appreciate your testimony. I have no other cards. If anyone else here from the audience wishes to speak on citizen comment, I will allow it now. Otherwise, we're going to move on our regular agenda. Would anyone else like to speak on citizen comment? Going once, going twice? Okay, we'll move forward with our regular agenda. Before we move forward, I just want to say I know I speak on behalf of all council members in saying that. Did you want to speak? Oh.
I just have one. My name's Lisa Anton again.
Good to see you again.
Yes, and I would just like to say that we came here, we left work, we got babysitters, and we did this, and some of the council members won't even look at us when we're talking. We didn't come here to hijack, we came here to peacefully speak, and there are some council members here they're gonna go out on Facebook today, that literally did not give a single person who was standing up for the police even one look. And I find that incredibly offensive after what you allowed last week. For your behavior today is absolutely incredibly offensive. And that's not the entire group. The people that I'm readdressing know who I'm addressing, and it's really offensive, really.
All right, thank you much for that additional testimony. I think in some cases, some people last week made the same point, that the reality is that council members are dealing with a variety of issues, and so they often are quickly emailing or texting back and forth with staff. In my case last week, I was dealing with homework issues for my child because the meeting did go so late, so on occasion they are looking down at their phones, but I appreciate the sentiment and the thought. Okay, Brenda. Thank you so much. All right, as I was about to say, I speak on behalf of all council members, say that our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Houston and Texas and what they've dealt with Harvey. Obviously, we are praying hard for what's going to happen has already happened in Puerto Rico and Florida and South Carolina. And we are so lucky, the people here were so complimentary of public safety, that we're so lucky that our urban search and rescue team that left, I guess, a week and a half ago or so on a Sunday night to help the people of Texas. Thought they were coming home, but they ain't coming home. They're on their way to Florida after that much time away to help the people of Florida. I think my understanding is they might spend the night in Shreveport and then enter Florida tomorrow. So we are so thankful to have one of the best and most respected urban search and rescue teams in the country. And because they're so good, they get called out to serve people in need. And unfortunately, they may be there for a long period of time because of the amount of damage that Hurricane Irma and then Jose following up may impose upon the people of that community. So again, we're praying, we're thinking of them, and we're thankful that our team from Phoenix is able to share a little bit of our love with the people of Texas and Florida and provide some safety. So I want to make sure I made that point. All right, would the city clerk please read the 24-hour paragraph?
Mayor, real quick.
Oh, Councilman Nowakowski, please.
I'm actually in Texas right now. We had 3 semi-trucks full of diapers, food, water that we brought out here to Texas. And let me tell you, the people and the love out here is just amazing. And once again, I just really want to thank all those residents that donated all those clothing and food to help out individuals out here, just to see and hear their stories of they went home to nothing, and it was just their whole life was flooded out. So it's really sad stories out here. But once again, just very proud of the men and women that are out here from the city of Phoenix helping out. So I just want to let you know.
All right, thank you very much, Councilman. I hope you're safe as well. All right, now, City Clerk, please read the 24-hour paragraph.
The titles of the following ordinance numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinance number G 6350 through 6361, S ordinances 43818, 43822, and 43823, 43861 through 43864, 43868, and 43871 through 43895, and resolutions number 21567 and 21568.
Thank you very much. Now we'll do approval of meeting minutes from previous agendas. Councilman Williams, have you had a chance to review formal meeting minutes, January 11th?
I did review them and move their approval.
All right. Is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Councilwoman Stark, formal meeting minutes of January 25th, 2017.
I've had an opportunity to review them, and I move for approval. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Councilman Valenzuela, formal meeting minutes, February 1st.
I move for approval.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Councilman Nowakowski, did you have a chance?
Motion to approve, yes.
Motion on February 15th, 2017 meeting minutes. There's a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Council Vice Mayor, March 1st.
Move approval.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Councilwoman Gallego.
Move approval of March 22nd meeting minutes. Second.
There's a motion, a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Is there a motion on mayor, boards, and commission nominations?
Motion to approve mayor's, boards, and commission nominations.
Is there a second? There is a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. City council, boards, and commission nominations. Vice Mayor?
Motion to approve city council, boards, and commission nominations.
There's a motion. There's a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. My understanding is that there are not citizens here today to be sworn in. Is that accurate? All right. We'll get that next meeting. Liquor license applications. Vice Mayor?
Motion to approve items 9 through 26.
There's a motion and a second. Cards on those items, the liquor licenses, all in favor? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Vice Mayor, is there a omnibus motion for ordinances, resolutions, new business, planning, and zoning?
Okay, let's see, because I don't understand Chris's handwriting. Motions to approve items 27 through 81, except the following: 28, 31, 33, 35, 36, 38, 39, 42, 43, 50, 51, 80, 81. Item 77 is as corrected. Item 73 has been withdrawn. Ooh. and excluding items for public comment. I think 27, 33, 39, 42, 50, 69 through 70, 80 through 81.
That is the motion. There is a second. Would any council member like to pull any additional items besides the one mentioned by the vice mayor? If not, roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, those items pass unanimously. Item 28 is next on the agenda.
7.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Item 27.
Item 27, I apologize. Is there a motion on 27?
Move approval.
There's a motion, there is a second. Mr. Leonard Clark, did you have testimony on item 27?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. We have many good people that work in Maricopa County, but unfortunately, I do oppose the $13 million from the city of Phoenix, the continued funding of sending our people that we've accused of crimes, people have been convicted maybe, but also people that haven't been convicted. The former sheriff was guilty, and everybody knows it, of many human rights violations. I know that many of us get angry. It's like someone takes my radio or steals something from mine. My first inclination is to want to, be very angry at the person. But that being said, doesn't mean we should lower our standards to some other countries. Specifically denial of medications, denial of seeing loved ones. Personally, yes, the food. Nobody's saying they want a hotel. So what we're saying is we think that we should come up with another system to house our prisoners, or we should demand of the current sheriff, which makes me not friends with the liberals, some people who, because he has a D in front of his name, I'm an independent progressive, by the way, we have human rights violations going on in the jail. Marissa Hamilton, libertarian candidate for governor, also pointed out people being denied medication when she was in the female section of the jail, these types of things. So until Sheriff Penzone decides to start improving the human rights violations, and this has nothing to do with Governor Ducey's huge gulag system where he's being sued, I really ask you not to vote the money. I know you have to, because realistically, where are you going to send people? But just because somebody's guilty or not guilty doesn't mean you have a right to treat them subhuman. I'm like everybody else. I don't want criminals running loose, but again, this is a gulag. Just because it's always been like this doesn't mean it always has to stay that way. And it takes political courage to say, what can we do to improve our jail? And the sheriff is not moving quick enough. It's also got ICE in there. And my brothers and sisters with the Community Action Board and Melendres versus Arpaio want that to stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's a motion in favor. There is a second. Any additional comments by members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is item 28. Is there a motion on 28?
Move item 28.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any cards in that item? Any comments by members of our council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Yes. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes 8-1. 31 is the next item? Is there a motion on 31?
Move item 31.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any cards on 31? Any comments by members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Yes. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes 8-1. All right, next item on the agenda is item 33. Item 33 is the canvass of vote for the recent August 2017 council election. Is there a motion on 33?
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Leonard Clark, you had testimony on 33.
I want to thank the mayor and council member. My name is Leonard Clark, council members, for the excellent job, and the city clerk's office for the excellent job they did. And yes, even though I'm a critic of many people in power, including this mayor, he does gain my respect for doing, unlike the former county recorder, since we ran our own election, for verifying the absentee ballots. So I think that's a good thing. And I'm thinking that maybe the county elections is improving. Maybe it would be more financially beneficial to start looking to the county again now that we don't have the former individual in there as county recorder with Mr. Adrian Fontes. So thank you, and I congratulate you on the election. That is one big deal when in a democracy, the way this whole world is going. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for that testimony and the confidence in our city clerk and running the elections in the city of Phoenix. And you're ahead of your time. And I guess others are stealing your ideas, which is great. So there's a motion. There is a second. Any comments by members of this council? You can't take it back once it's given. Roll call.
Wearing your yes, right?
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So congratulations to all of the council members officially now reelected to the city council. Next on the agenda is item number 35. Is there a motion on item 35?
Move item number 35.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any cards? Any comments by members of the city council?
Mayor?
Councilman, please.
I have one. I've had numerous complaints on this one. This one deals with the warranty service provided by a outside company, but it uses the Phoenix logo, which basically says it's the City of Phoenix operation, when in fact it's not. So I'm going to be voting no on this, but I've had multiple people call me on this. And it wasn't just today or this last week. It has been over time.
All right. Thank you very much. I actually maybe I can ask for a continuance on the item only because I have some similar questions, and I'd like to get from Councilman DeCiccio those complaints so I can learn more about them myself. So is there a hurry on this item?
Mayor, no, the contract technically expired at the beginning of August, but waiting 2 more weeks won't be a problem.
Okay, my request
This is simply an extension to the December 31, but if we need to wait and answer questions, we can certainly do that.
That's my request, is that we do a continuance for a couple weeks. Councilman, please.
No, I appreciate that too, because when it does use the City of Phoenix logo on there, it makes it sound like it's something that we're selling. And again, I don't mind private sector companies doing it, but when it's a complete misrepresentation, and it's not clear enough that it's an outside company. So I think they took out the outside logo. But again, there might be other companies that do this too. I'm not sure how we got to one. Those would be my 2 biggest concerns.
All right, thank you very much, Councilman. So, Vice President, my request is that we have continued the item, if that's okay.
No, I think it's great.
September 20th.
I think I'm talking to the
Vice Mayor? Just kidding.
Not yet.
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you. So the motion would be to continue it for 2 weeks. Is that okay with the seconder? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda is 36. No, I'm sorry.
No.
36.
36.
Yeah, 36. Is there a motion on 36?
36 and 38 together. Sure.
Okay, so the request by Councilman Waring is to do 36 and 38 together. Is there a motion on 36 and 38?
Move items 36 and 38.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Any cards on those items? Any comments by members of the City Council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yeah, so those items pass 8-1. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 42. 39, I apologize. Is there a motion on 39?
Move item 39.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on 39. Mr. Leonard Clark, item 39.
Again, Leonard Clark is my name. I just want to thank the Pima Maricopa Nation, the tribes, for the grants. And this grant, I guess part of it is for veterans. And considering the long history of extermination and stealing of land, they've been really working well with the city of Phoenix on the water situation. And now with grants for our veterans, I just want to thank them. I don't know if I could do that if I was indigenous in everything that's happened. So thank you, and I hope you'll vote for this.
Thank you very much. There's a motion in favor and a second. Any other comments from members of the council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor. Mayor Stanton.
Yes. Next on the agenda is item number 42, as it relates to school resource officers in our schools. Is there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry. Vice Mayor has a potential conflict and will not be participating in today's discussion or vote. Is there a motion on item 42?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Mr. Leonard Clark, school resource officers.
My name is Leonard Clark. I know it's very controversial, for my opposing this, but right now, because of what's going on with DACA, what's going on in our schools, we've had children in other states, other school districts where, because the child might be wearing the wrong shirt supposedly, or making the wrong gesture with their hand, oh, they must be part of the evil gangs. And we've had cases where then ICE is called in, the parents don't even know, and before they know it, their child has been absconded. And I use the word absconded very knowingly, off to some deportation camp thousands of miles away. In light of what's going on throughout the United States with this chief executive playing games with people's hearts and minds, I just have to say I'm not for it. It's not to personally denigrate the officers who put their lives on the line, but right now we have a trust issue, and many people are opposed to this, so I'm against it. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you very much. So there's a motion in favor of 42. There's a second. Any comments? Councilwoman Stark, please.
Mayor, if we could just get a clarification from the chief on what they do. My understanding is they're not in there checking immigration status. They're just there to train, teach students about public safety, help them out. So not to put you on the spot, but could you clarify that, please?
Chief, what do SROs do?
Mayor, members of council, Councilwoman Stark. So what we did in this school resource officer contract this year, we listened to the advice and the needs that the schools were saying for us and to us. We listened to testimony from students and other family members, as well as listened to the ad hoc subcommittee that was engaged earlier this year. So there's a triad approach to the school resource officers. They are mentors, they are educators, and last in that triad, they are enforcers. So we don't call ICE on campus, but we're still in compliance with the law. We still are there to provide services for the students also.
All right, thank you very much. Any other additional comments? Councilman Valenzuela, please.
I appreciate it. I understand that there are some concerns in the community and things, there are a lot of raw emotions in the community, and I don't think anyone can deny that. No one can pretend that people are not going through something right now. It's a very, very political, it's always a political time, but it's a very, very political time, obviously. Now, that said, school resource officers are incredibly important to our schools. They're important to the safety of our schools. We hear, and it hasn't been just too long since something happened in San Bernardino as an example. We go back to some of those horrific scenes at Columbine, and so many of those incidents that took place between and obviously prior to Columbine. Hopefully we won't witness anything like that again, but nonetheless, school resource officers are incredibly important. This is a topic that we have discussed at length when we discussed other police policies and procedures. I stood up adamantly supportive of SROs then, and I am still very supportive of it now. Now, Chief Williams, you and I have talked about this. if there are concerns in terms of relationships between children, doctors, students in particular, and school resource officers, I don't think the right thing to do is to make the school less safe and to take those SROs out. I do believe that we have to reach out, which, Chief, you've committed to doing this, and talk with families and students and remind students what the purpose of having an SRO is at their school. It is a resource. That person is a resource, and yes, should something happen, we are going to all be very, very glad that we have a police officer that is already on scene. So this is very important. I've always been supportive, and I got to tell you, as a parent, I'm also very supportive. If we have an opportunity to get police officers in schools, then I want to do that. You know, I spent several years as a fire pal, which is sort of on the fire side, the equivalent. You know, firefighters going in and talking with students and so on. Obviously, it's a different job. And I hear the mayor cracking jokes over there about something. It is absolutely a different job. We all have so much respect for our police officers. But, you know, that's the type of mentorship that we need and the type of resources we need, the education that we need. And so anyway, that said, I'm very, very supportive of this program. You know, Councilwoman Williams, not to speak for you, Councilwoman, but you always bring this point up. School resource officers are not in schools where they're not invited. You know, school districts have to apply for, you know, this resource, and that's how this relationship is built. So, you know, that said, again, I made the motion and I'll stand by it.
Thank you very much, Councilman. I was only commenting how lucky the children were to have you come into their classroom.
Yeah, sure you were, Mayor.
Any other comments by members of the council? All right, roll call.
DeCiccio. DeCiccio. Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, so that item passes 6-1, I believe. Okay. Next item on the agenda is item 43. Is there a motion on item 43? Vice Mayor.
I move motion 43.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any cards in those items? Any comments by members of our city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes 8-0. Next item is 51 of, what's that? 50, I'm sorry, 51st. Is there a motion on 50?
Move item 50.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Mr. Leonard Clark, did you have testimony on item 50?
Thank you. I promise this is the last time I talk for a while. My name is Leonard Clark. I'm just concerned. I understand collections, you know, because I owe to the Superior Court for filing pro se. And unfortunately, they don't believe like the federal court where they don't charge you for filing as a citizen. But I do like the work that one of the council people, I know you've probably helped her, was what Kate Gallego did in trying to make it so that people, like you hear the horror stories in other parts of the country where you have people going to jail for not being able to pay fines, and it's just like this never-ending cycle. It gets worse and worse. So I do appreciate, I will point out the good that I've seen that you've done, and especially the Council Lady Gallego for trying to see that people who already owe debt to the court don't go deeper in debt and can't pay it. So we don't end up like what we have like in the Charles Dickens setting, you know, the Victorian age where people have, you know, there's debtor prisons. And believe it or not, that goes on in other parts of the country. So I would hope that you will, this is a compassionate measure because I'm hoping you're not just giving free rein to more of these collections vipers who go after people who are trying to pay but can't. So thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Leonard Clark, for that testimony. You are correct that the changes made by Phoenix Municipal Court at the behest of Councilwoman Gallego and certainly supported by this city council not only are better from a humane level, but they actually raise revenue, more revenue than the previous system. So actually more revenue comes into the city due to that smart, fiscally smart policy. All right, so the motion is in favor of 50. There is a second. Any additional comments by members of this council? Roll call.
Gallego.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela. Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. Item 51, Vice Mayor, you got a question on 51.
I did have a question on item 51. Thank you. Should I move it? Or
Well, if you want to, you asked a question before the motion, if you had a question first, that's what I was wanting to make sure that the question got answered.
Okay, thank you. I was really asking him.
Oh.
Just. So the request is to purchase golf merchandise for our pro shops. And my question was, when we sell an item, that money then gets placed back into the same fund in order to purchase more merchandise in the future.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council, that's correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there a motion on 51?
Move item 51.
Second.
Is there there is a second? Any cards on that item? Any additional comments by members of the council? Roll call.
Gallego.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela. Waring.
One brief comment to respond to Councilwoman Pastor. I understand that we sell the products for a profit. We shouldn't be in the golf business and spending time, energy, and so forth on this to begin with. We have other things that's been highlighted at this meeting today to focus on. So I guess this is just my version of a protest vote, so I'm going to vote no.
Really?
Williams.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So the vote was 7-1. Next item on the agenda is item 69.
Move item 69.
We have a motion in
Second.
favor of 69. There is a second.
70. The card is on.
And okay, the card is on 69 and 70. Maybe you address both issues at this time. Mr. Jeff Finkelman, you are opposed to 69. So please come forward and provide any testimony you have before the city council.
My name is Jeff Finkelman. I oppose this project. We have a self-storage at 20th Street in Indian School, and this project's approximately a mile away. And, excuse me, and we tried to get 3 stories, and we're denied, and they're trying to go 3 stories, and we don't think you should pick favorites on projects.
All right, thank you very.
Yeah.
Any additional? Okay. Any questions for Mr. Finkelman on that item? Okay, just a second. You want 2 together? Did you have additional testimony?
I'm sorry?
Oh, I apologize. Any questions for Mr. Finkelman? Okay, thank you very much for your testimony. Do you want to do both?
Motion item 69 and 70.
Okay. Because Mr. Finkelman's testimony was on both 69 and 70, and there are no other cards on the item, it would be appropriate if you want to move forward with both or do a motion on both 69 and 70. Vice Mayor, this is your district?
I move motion 69 and 70.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
And is that to
Councilwoman, please.
adopt a related ordinance?
Mayor, members of council, yes, let me go ahead and add that. This item was not appealed, so it automatically, you're going to have the ordinance adoption. So because it's not up for a public hearing, we don't add that language, but it won't hurt.
Okay. So the motion is in favor. There is a second. Any additional comments by members of this council or questions?
I have a question
Please.
to Alan.
Vice Mayor.
The gentleman spoke of the 20th Street and Indian School regarding 2 stories versus 3 stories. Can you give us some background around that? I'm sorry, I'm talking to Alan Stevens.
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, I believe the gentleman is referring to another zoning case. I don't know the details of that zoning case, but anytime the council takes action on a zoning request, it goes through a full public hearing process, through neighborhood input, village planning committee, planning commission, ultimately city council. So if they were denied as that site being unsuitable for 3 stories, that's entirely permitted by the council to do. I don't know the circumstances of that case, so I don't want to opine on it, but certainly this has gone through that process and has been deemed suitable for 3 stories in height as it went through that process. There was no objections to it. It comes before you on the consent agenda today with no one appealing it, so there isn't, has been no opposition to this particular case.
Okay, because so it went through the whole process in the village and everything else.
Correct. It was offered. In this case, I believe the village had some quorum issues, so they didn't hear it, but it was on their agenda for anyone to show up and speak if they wish, but they did not have a quorum that night.
Okay. I also received 4 letters of support for this property too. So I haven't received any items against this property up until right now, and it sounds like it's a zoning issue that got passed.
Yeah, Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, we have received letters in support as well. We're not aware of any letters in opposition. Certainly a competing mini storage facility coming to speak in opposition isn't a good use of the city's zoning authority. Your zoning authority should be about addressing context issues and what the community, not based upon one business owner saying they don't like it because they couldn't get something on their property. That's not a good use of your zoning authority from a business competition standpoint.
Okay, thank you, Alan.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions by members of this council? Mr. Finkel, you were trying to address something earlier. I don't know if you wanted to get something on the record. Now would be the time. Okay. Okay. With that, roll call.
Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams. Pastor.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, item 69 and 70 passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 80. I guess 80 and 81 are related items. Zoning case concerning the northeast corner of 7th Street and Mineral Road. We will first hear a staff report on this item. Then I'll open up for a public hearing to hear public testimony, close the public hearing, and then see if there's a motion by a member of the City Council. So with that, Mr. Stevenson, do you have a report on 80 and 81?
I do. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As you noted, item 80 and 81 are related cases. Item 81 is a general plan amendment, and item 80 is a correlating zoning case for the northeast corner of 7th Street and Mineral Canyon Road. You see on the aerial over here, it is adjacent to the old Vistal Golf Course in South Mountain Park. This area shown in red down here is the subject site for the rezoning and general plan application. The request for the general plan is to go from residential 0 to 1, commercial and parks open space, to residential 10 to 15 to allow a ownership multifamily residential project to take place in that parcel. The applicant, as part of working through the process, had some initial concerns from the community. The Planning Commission did vote to deny the 10 to 15 plus, but they approved residential 5 to 10 dwelling units per acre on this general plan designation for this request. So staff does recommend approval per the Planning Commission recommendation. The related item is also the zoning case. The existing zoning on the site is a hotel resort baseline area overlay district. They're requesting R3 baseline area overlay district for that same multifamily ownership residential project. Staff does recommend approval per some stipulations from a memo that came out earlier today. Here's a close-up of that same site. The Vistal Golf Course here is currently under development already for residential, closed several years ago. This is a extension of that by Greyhawk Development, the developers to the north, for this ownership multifamily project down in this area here. You see there's the subject site. Here is how this lays out, with this being the area for the multifamily ownership. This is more single-family ownership in this area here, and some additional higher density product up in that area. You see this is their proposed site plan with the proposed buildings laid out on it. Here's a potential rendering of what the project will look like. Staff does recommend approval per that memo that came out earlier today that addresses some of the community concerns at the request of Councilwoman Gallego to lower the density count by 50 units, and also address some off-site drainage flows that are part of the stipulation that came out with the memo earlier today. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stevenson. In a moment, I'll open the public hearing. I first want to note, though, that apparently we're having some technical difficulties. Council members are able to appear telephonically. Councilman DeCiccio, I guess, was cut off by our technology, has been trying to call back in and has not been successfully able to call back in. I just want to make sure that was noted, that he's apparently trying but not been successful. Councilman Nowakowski, though, apparently is still on the phone. Is that true, Councilman Nowakowski? You're still on?
I'm still on.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to open up the public hearing on item 80 and 81. I'll take testimony on either of those related items. Public hearing is now open. I only have one card. Ms. Kay Shepard, in favor. Did you wish to provide testimony or just note your support for the case? You want testimony? Come on down if you do. All right, no problem. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council people. My name is Kay Shepard. I live at near 12th Street and Baseline Road. Been down that area for over 50 years. I've been associated with this project since the mid-90s. I've always felt for years that this is an ideal place to have multifamily, to have higher density. It never seemed quite fair, if you want to put it that way, to have all low density along that mountain. Not everybody wants a big yard. Not everybody even wants a yard. And I think this offers the diversity that community much needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that testimony. Is anyone else here in the audience wishing to provide testimony on items 80 or 81? Going once, going twice. Public hearing is now closed. I'll now hand it over to Councilwoman Gallego. It's her district. We have to do separate motions. You'd want to do a motion on 80.
Wonderful, and I'm going to make some comments on both
Please.
80 and 81 together, as they are related cases. There's some important changes in the planning director's memo. The area has had significant problems with water and drainage, and so with the change in stipulation, this project will now take in over 30% more water than required to help with the historical flooding issues in the area, so hopefully that will be a benefit to the community. The Planning Commission, as the planning director mentioned, did a decline in density, and then this stipulation removes an additional 50 units in response to community concerns. And then there's some local traffic issues with people trying to find a non-existent entrance to the park. So I just want to confirm with the planning director, but I think we're going to be able to put up some signage in the Dobbins area to address the concern of the Mineral Canyon Neighborhood Association, who's getting people looking for a park and finding a neighborhood instead.
Mayor, Councilwoman Gallego, yes, I confirmed with the Assistant Street Transportation Director that the Streets Department will put up some signage at Dobbins and 7th Street that will direct people coming southbound on 7th Street that 7th Street is not a through street. They should use Dobbins Road to go over to Central to get into South Mountain Park. And I think that will address some of the larger neighborhood traffic concerns where people who are going to South Mountain don't know that 7th Street doesn't go through, and this way they can use Dobbins Road because that is a major mile street there to connect to Central and then go south into the park.
Wonderful. So we have tried to make significant changes to take into the account the input of the people in the area. Since they are not here, we cannot ask how we did, but for the applicant, if the neighborhood would want an additional meeting, would the folks from Greyhawk be willing to have an additional meeting to discuss any neighborhood concerns? Got it. Wonderful. Thank you. All right.
This
Just a
moment.
short question. Yes, Mayor.
Please state your name for the record.
Of course. Wendy Riddell with the law firm Barry Riddell, for your records, 6750 East Camelback. Of course, if the neighborhood wants additional meetings, we'd be delighted to meet with them.
Wonderful. We are trying very hard to make this a win for both our future residents and our current residents. So
Absolutely.
Thank you. Wonderful. With that, I would recommend approval of the item based on the September 6th memo from the Planning and Development Director and adopt the related ordinance.
There's a motion.
Mayor,
There's a second.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
Mayor, members
Stevenson,
of council,
please.
could we have a motion on item 81 first? That's the general plan amendment, and so we want to approve that per the resolution from the Planning Commission recommendation.
81 before 80.
Yes.
Oh, we're edgy today. I move approval of item 81 based on the Planning Commission meeting of August 3rd and adopt the related resolution.
All right, there's a motion, there's a second. Any additional comments from members of this council? Roll call.
Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela. Waring. Williams. Pastor. Mayor Stanton.
Yes. All right, item 80 is next, I guess.
Move approval of item 80 based on the September 6th memo from the Planning and Development Director and adopt the related ordinance.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments on that? Roll call.
Mayor, I have a comment.
I'm sorry, Councilman Nowakowski, please.
Mayor, I travel that all the time, and I know that 7th Street, have we done a traffic assessment on that? Because I know it's one lane all the way up to baseline, right? And with this act, additional housing and individuals moving up there, do we have enough capacity on our streets to handle the extra traffic?
All right, Mr. Stevenson, was there a traffic study done of some sort before you made your recommendation on this project?
Mayor, members of council, yes, there was a traffic study done and reviewed, and there were some meetings with the Street Transportation Department, neighborhood folks, and the applicant to talk about some of those issues. That's where the notion came up to have some directional signage, because the real traffic issue is people cutting through the neighborhood to get from 7th Street to Central Avenue.
Thank you. Councilman Nowakowski, any additional questions?
That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. All right, so there was a motion in favor, a second. Any additional comments? Roll call.
Gallego.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela. Waring. Williams. Pastor. Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. There is no other additional citizen comments to be made for this meeting. With that, our meeting today is adjourned.